all
Me
day
too.
long.
Yes.
You want the American dream. You want the life, the liberty, the happiness. But until you get there, until you achieve your goals and make your dreams come true, you know what you have. You have the journey, the hustle, the climb. I'm Kelsey Humphreys, and this is The Pursuit, where I interview the best of the best in person on their home turf about how they got started, how they got to where they are today, and what you can learn from them about success. Prepare to be inspired, equipped, motivated, encouraged, and have a lot of fun.
5, 4. Kelsey, are you ready?
I'm ready. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Pursuit.
In this episode, I got to interview Marie Forleo in her winter home in LA, and it was a dream come true. I've been following her for years. After all, she was named by Oprah as a thought leader for the next generation and one of Inc.'s 500's fastest growing companies. She helps entrepreneurs build a business and life they truly love. She is a master of personal branding, creating the award-winning online show Marie TV, which boasts over 230,000 subscribers. She is also the founder of B School and has mentored young business owners at Richard Branson's Center for Entrepreneurship. Her site, marieforleo.com, is one of Forbes.com's top 100 websites for entrepreneurs.
I am here with Marie Forleo, and yes, I am fangirling. I'm fangirling out. We are here in her kitchen in Venice, California. Thank you so much for letting us come today.
It's an honor. I love this.
It's so exciting. So a lot of people know you, I think, from, you've got so much amazing content out there. You've got your YouTube show, Marie TV. You have B School, which is launching today.
Yes.
Is that right? Which
Yes.
is crazy. Congratulations. I know
Thank you.
Launches are crazy exhausting. And I think that people don't realize that you've been at this for online 15 or so years.
Yep, probably close to 17.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that people just don't realize.
OG. I'm an OG when it comes to the internet. Absolutely.
Okay, so I kind of want to give a quick rundown of before, you became the Marie that we all know and love today. You worked on the floor of the stock exchange. You taught dance, fitness classes. She did some personal assistant work. And then you started your coaching business on the side, doing all of that at the same time for years. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
Bartending as well?
Bartending and waiting tables. When I first got out of college on Wall Street, New York Stock Exchange, I was enamored. It's a really exciting place, but I felt intuitively that was not where I was supposed to be or my path in this world. And the panic set in because I didn't know what else I was supposed to do. I knew that wasn't it. And I went on a bit of an odyssey to try and figure out, what am I supposed to do in this world? I knew I wanted to make a difference. I also knew that I didn't want to necessarily have a cap on my income. That was like a frustrating thing for me. Every time I had a normal job and someone determined my paycheck, there was something unsettling about it because I'm a really hard worker, and I didn't like that fact that no matter how hard I worked or how much I contributed, I had to go ask someone else for more money. So I did. I went on a bit of an odyssey. I worked in publishing. I was trying to find a match and a mesh of something that was highly creative and that also had a business sense. And it wasn't until I stumbled upon this article about life coaching, and I was all of 23 years old. So of course, the logical part of my brain that is a reasonable human said, are you crazy? Who's going to hire a 23-year-old life coach? This is absolutely nuts. But I couldn't deny that the deeper part of me, in my heart and in my soul, knew that this was something I needed to pursue.
So many of us, just like that, can't nail ourselves down to one thing, and you call it multi-passionate, right?
Yeah.
Which, I love that phrase, and I think that's one of the many reasons people love you so much, because they can relate. So let's talk about, when did you get to the point where you could put everything else aside and just go all in on coaching?
So it wasn't until about 7 years of having my coaching business on the side, also having a career in dance and fitness. I was a Nike elite athlete. I've done, if you walk into almost any Walmart or Target and you look in the fitness section, there's a very good chance that you will see my face, so cheesy, on a cover of Dance Off the Inches or something like that. And so, for a while I had all these different little businesses going. And then I really had to get real with myself. My man, Josh, is an actor, and I love being with him. And he would always say, hey, come with me. I'm shooting over here and I love to travel. but I was landlocked, between bartending and my fitness classes and all the other things I was doing besides my coaching business. I really had to be in New York. And I said, you know what? When I look out in my life and think about the impact that I want to have in the world and my longevity, where do I feel like I can make the biggest difference and have the freedom that I want and do all the things that I want to do? And the truth of it was, staying in fitness and dance it didn't feel like that was the path for me. Like I couldn't see myself, not that I won't, but I couldn't see myself in like my 50s or 60s, you know what I mean, doing the Beyonce booty pop. Although I will be doing that, but I didn't know if that's how I wanted to earn money.
Yeah, at that point.
So it was really this combination of an intuitive hit that this is the time, and it was some practical reflection of looking back and also looking ahead into the future and saying, where can I really use who I am and have the longevity that I want to have and the impact that I want to have. So that's where that choice came from.
It takes so much focus to do all those things and build a business at the same time.
Yep.
Like I'm a mom, I know working moms who have the same thing, like we're trying to build a brand or build a business and we're raising kids, or people who haven't been able to go out and they have a side hustle and a full-time job, which is kind of what you had all those jobs.
Yes.
What's your advice for staying organized, staying focused, using your time, really for your business when you can?
I think it's about really understanding your situation. So, you highlighted a really great point. If you have kids and a family, you might not want to start 3 businesses on the side. It's like pick one extra thing to focus on and give that your all besides your full-time gig and your family. I think if you don't have family to take care of, again, I was 22, 23, 24 years old. It was a different time in my life. I really went into pursuing different passions with eyes wide open, meaning knowing because my focus was split, I probably wouldn't be getting very far in any of them, but I made a conscious choice that I just wanted to experience them. I wanted to understand them from the inside out. I spent so much time thinking in my mind, is this the right choice for me? Is this the right career for me? Should I try and build a business around this? And I said, that's such a dumb way to go around it. Like you should just engage and experience and actually get your foot in the industry. That can inform whether or not you should move ahead. So in terms of the answer to that question, I think everyone's situation is different. And if there's things that you're passionate about, let yourself engage in them, but maybe they don't have to be a business. Like you don't have to go start a business as a photographer if you're interested in photography. Like take a class, understand the challenges, understand the possibilities, and then start to make those decisions. You don't have to make everything a revenue source or an income stream.
I find that refreshing, what you just said, because it's everywhere. Entrepreneurship's the new black.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a great point. Okay, let's talk about the very first, did you move from group coaching and then do an online course, or what were your first products before B School became B School?
Yeah, the very first group coaching program that I did was all based on teleseminars, conference calls, and it was called Productivity Secrets for Creative Entrepreneurs. It was the first time I was teaching more than just one-on-one individual coaching, and I was terrified. I was so scared. I was scared that no one was going to sign up. I was scared that they wouldn't be happy, that I wouldn't be able to deliver and, create real results for people. So I had all those fears and just said, you know what? I got to move past it. I got to do this. And I did it. And I think there was maybe between 24 and 32 people in that first experience. And I loved it. I loved being able to connect with groups and seeing them interact with each other, even though it was all virtual. And that really kind of propelled me. And once I had that experience, everything started to iterate from there, because not only did I get feedback on that particular content, I started to see points where people would get stuck and frustration points and different things that they wanted to learn. So then I evolved to a year-long virtual coaching program, and that I think went to about maybe 200 or 300 people. And then I started to really understand what some of the key differences were between who I was as a human being, my vision for business, my vision for my customers, my vision for the impact that I wanted to make in the world, and then looking out into the entrepreneurial educational space. And as a woman, I have to admit, when I first started my business, there was not that many women teaching business. And so many of the conferences that I would go to learn and just to understand how to be a better entrepreneur, I was really disenchanted with how business was spoken about. It was about how to extract as much profit from your customer. And it felt like shaking people upside down and getting all of their money, and it disgusted me. because I felt like there was such an opportunity to have businesses be a force for good, where you get to pour your deepest beliefs and your highest visions for people into your products and services, and none of that was reflected in anything that I saw at the time. And also, there wasn't that much like style and aesthetics to the educational experience, which for me was actually quite important. Business isn't that easy, especially for, you know, I don't have an MBA and I don't come from this highfalutin academic, you know, kind of background. So I wanted the educational experience to be pleasing and enjoyable. And plus there was no humor either. Everything was just so dry. And I was like, I feel like we can really change that.
Okay, so you're at a group, year-long, 200 or 300 people. When did YouTube come in? When did you start using YouTube?
I think it was around 2010, 2011. So that was another intuitive hit. So previous, you know, I had my experiences as a fitness personality, and I'd done all of these fitness videos, and would go and do press like on 2020 and different things for the gyms and the brands that I was associated with. So I loved teaching people, and I loved the camera work. And something in my heart was like, you should start doing more videos, because I was purely blogging and I was purely just writing email newsletters. So all of my content was written. And then I just opened up my little laptop, looked into the camera, no lighting. All those videos are still up, by the way.
I've seen them.
Yeah,
I went back and looked,
I don't take any of them down. And then once I started doing the video content, I realized I could answer questions, and then I would do them kind of off the cuff. And I'd see them and I'd go, why didn't I remember that quote? Oh wait, there was like 3 other things I could have said, which then gave me the idea like, oh, I should probably formalize this a little bit more so I can deliver as much value as possible. Because you know this, in the moment sometimes, you don't necessarily have access to the file folder of all of the things that you've learned or all of the examples that you might want to give to offer someone value. So that's when I was like, okay, maybe I should start scripting these out and writing things. And then I have a really weird, twisted sense of humor. It's just who I am. And so sometimes when I was looking at these questions and answers, and it was also reflected in my coaching, like live coaching with people, I would come up with these analogies and metaphors that would always make them laugh. But I was like, well, how can I bring this to life in a more kind of graphical way? And I just happened to start acquiring the people that had the same kind of twisted sense of humor that I did, that thought, you know, stuff was funny. And then all of a sudden it's like I'm on Amazon at like midnight going like, can I order a penguin outfit? Like, can I get that on Prime? Because I really need it tomorrow. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So I had multiple people write in and ask about this exact thing. If you go back and look, you know, it's you on your couch in jeans, and now it's like, you know, very high end, and you look perfect every time. I was really insecure about like what I wore today and my hair, because I was like, it's Marie. And so
you look beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Was that, you know, strategic? Did it just evolve? Did you decide that your audience grew up? Or because some people felt like, I think they didn't say this, no one in their comments said this, but I think they felt it was more approachable, or maybe they, you know.
Oh, this is a criticism I hear all the time.
Oh, okay.
And it's, so here's the truth. Like, me sitting there in my jeans and a t-shirt, that's how I live like every day. I mean, this is not a fancy dress I have on. I don't know if anyone. Yeah. See, I eat my hair. This is why.
Okay.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
It's like I meet people on the street every single day in jeans, and my hair's in a bun, and most of the time I have hardly any makeup on. When you're shooting between 10 and 12 episodes at a time, for me to like go through my own closet and go like, well, what am I going to wear for 10 to 12 episodes? It is not a smart use of my time as a business person. Do you know how you just had to pull the hair out of my face? This is like actually quite perfect, because if my hair wasn't, which it's not done besides like a couple of day blowout now because I got my hair cut, but having a hair guy on set like helps keep it actually out of my face. And let's be honest, like as women, isn't it kind of fun sometimes just to have someone else deal with that? Oh yeah. So for me, it's a real time-saving element. It wasn't about like the audience growing up. It was literally like, hey, there's someone that I trust who knows what kind of clothes actually look good on my body and that aren't going to be weird and drapey. I don't have that ability. Like I don't have that talent or that skill to go pick out that many things. So someone else does that. It's just not practical for me to not have those support systems. It's not, and if you actually listen to the content, I don't know what's not approachable about it. I realized as I was just picking out my own clothes, it was one of the biggest stressors for me. So if I have X amount of time to devote to content or to devote to this show, and all of a sudden I'm like stressed out, like, oh God, is that shirt pressed? Or like, what do I have? Rather than devoting my energy and attention to like actually taking care of people and researching and writing, and do you know what I mean?
Oh yes, yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
Such a great point.
And so, yeah, I get it's an interesting thing because I hear that and I understand it, but I'm like, well, I met people today on the street. This woman, she was amazing, wonderful human being, and she was in tears because what she went through with B-School, and she's been watching our content. She's like, I went from having to sell all my furniture. She has beyond a 6-figure business. She's taking care of her family. She was literally crying, and I'm like, she doesn't give a crap about whether I have my hair done or I have glossy whatever on. She's paying attention to the content. And I think it really speaks to something that we need to pay attention to. If like that's your criticism of me, I don't know. I think you need to go back and take a closer look.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. You said in your interview with our mutual friend, Lewis, you said something that I was just like, wow, she's got to talk about that with me. And it has to do with what you just talked about, being driven towards a goal. And you talked about people who are very ambitious. And I just, when you said this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. And you said that if people who have a lot of drive and you're very ambitious, there's a good chance that you're going to be unhappy all the time. And I was like, oh, this is everyone. This is like everyone I know, because there's so many driven people and their eyes are on the goal. And how did you learn to get over that? How did you learn? Just teach me, Marie.
Yeah, no, it's something, I mean, I think it's a consistent practice for all of us. I am lucky because my background is life coaching, and personal development is the basis, and spiritual development of everything that I do. And it's just part of what I'm extremely passionate about as a human being. And so, if you show up in every moment like you're fully meant to be there, everything else works out. Everything else is incredibly satisfying. And, I've been around the block enough to see that you can meet some pretty big goals and you can reach some milestones and have some highlights. And then there's always something else. There's always something else. Now, you can always feel like you're failing or like you're not they're not there yet, or you're falling behind. Or you can say, you know what, this is actually the landscape of life is how can I be as fully present in this moment and have so much fun and squeeze every drop out of my life, knowing it's not going to last that long. And like, we don't know, could get hit by a bus tomorrow. And to feel any sort of consistent angst like you're not good enough or you're not there yet is such a disrespect to this precious life that we have. And so there's always going to be other things to create and achieve, but it can never be better than it is right now if you really, really let yourself experience how good it is.
Wow, so awesome, so awesome. So what is an average day like for Marie Forleo?
There probably is none. And the reason why is because there are so many different seasons, not only in all of our lives, but for me, if it's the part of the year where we do a lot of shooting of Marie TV, there's days when I'm writing all day long and editing and, doing all kinds of things to prep for the show. Right now, it's B-School time. So all of my focus is on B-School, and not only our promotions, but also taking care of our customers and taking care of our alum and just being in there.
Habits or things you do each day that set you up for success?
Definitely meditation.
Okay.
That is a daily. We did a Marie TV on that. We have like a great little free, I did my first guided meditation download, so if anybody wants that. Meditation for sure, and exercise almost like, I would say 5 or 6 days of the week most of the time, unless I'm traveling and it's just kind of insane. But those, without a doubt, I think people grossly underestimate the impact that exercise has on your mental health and your ability to focus, and also your emotional well-being. They just think it's about like keeping your body tight or feeling strong or whatever. It's actually, if you want to take care of your body, that's like 90% really about how you eat. If you want to take care of your mind, if you want to be focused, if you want to feel unstoppable, you need to exercise. And it's greatly, greatly underestimated. So those two things for sure. Laughing, dancing, finding weird stuff on the internet that makes me laugh. I think those are the other.
What about like weird green juices or weird?
Green juice for sure, like non-negotiable, yes. But not weird really. Like I just try and eat as many vegetables as humanly possible. drink as much water as humanly possible. All the stuff that we kind of know we should
Right,
do,
right.
but nothing crazy strange.
What was it like in the first few years when you were doing coaching and nothing else?
Early until late, I worked 7 days a week. The days when I would bartender wait tables, usually at night, I would wake up early during the day. I would do everything that I could to like write content, send an email newsletter, schedule coaching clients, like just hustle on the business, and then shower and get ready and go and make money to support myself. Because like, what could be more desperate than a life coach who needs clients? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, just, I'm a desperate, let me help you fix your life, but mine's totally messed up.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it was very much just nonstop trying to make money, like cleaning people's toilets, being a personal assistant, you know,
Wow.
whatever it took, and then fitting in business growth and trying to understand business and going to conferences. You know, it was chaotic. It was nonstop.
And what do you think were the keys to the success at the beginning? Because as you know, a lot of businesses fail in the first few years.
Absolutely.
So what do you think really set you over the edge?
I think it was, for me, not expecting my little baby business to pay the bills. It was completely having an income outside of that. And while it was extremely modest, I was eating, you know, a lot of mac and cheese and ramen noodles and, you know, all that good stuff, which was totally fine. And it was just not expecting this brand new thing to just take care of me and my bills and all of that. And really also not being in a race. You know, sometimes I think in the entrepreneurial space, sometimes you can get into some networking groups and stuff, and there's like, you know, people, and this is not me putting them down, but it's like, oh, I'm going for my first round of funding, you know what I mean? And I have this big business plan, and I would literally look at those people and feel like crap. I'm like, oh my God, I am just a little life coach with my little business. Do you know? And
I'm here with my online show.
Yeah, my little online show, and I
travel
can I
with
help
my-
you fix your life? You know, and they have these grand things. But for me, being patient and being willing to be small and scrappy and not know what I was doing and build it slowly over time. Like I said, I had side jobs for like 7 years, and I meet people, they're like, oh my God, this is 4 months, and I'm like, are you kidding me?
And any advice you have on when it's time to finally get some help?
Yeah, for sure. I think for me, I was terrified to hire my first virtual assistant, someone to help me with customer service. And I had no idea what to tell her to do because I'm a control freak and I wanted to do everything myself and do it right. I think when you find yourself so kind of stressed out, it's probably a little too late, but you're like, I can't do all of this anymore. And I think you just have to dive in. You can't expect yourself to make perfect hires every time. You will definitely have some wrong choices. I remember I felt like a horrible boss. I was like, how did I pick the wrong people? And you never want to, it's horrible to fire someone and let them go. But I think you have to dive in sooner rather than later. And now, as opposed to when I was first starting on that path, there are so many services that make it so easy to like hire someone to start helping you. It's almost like training wheels before then, you know, you have to necessarily take on a full-time employee.
I remember when I first found you, I was like, holy cow, you know, she's interviewed some really cool people. Did it do anything for your business, for your personal brand? And I mean, how did you leverage them? And what advice would you, because, you know, everyone's podcasting now, which is why I think multiple people ask this question. What would your advice be for leveraging those interviews and landing those interviews?
I think in terms of landing the interviews, you just got to be bold and just go for it, you know, and you can't hurt yourself or take it personally when people say no, because, you know, anyone who is busy in their business and out in the world and doing a lot of things, time is their most, like for all of us, time is their most precious resource, and sometimes it's just impossible from a scheduling perspective, even though they might want to say yes. So I'd say, you know, be bold, go for it, make sure that you can show some metrics and the reason why it would benefit that person to say yes to you, because they're getting bombarded with requests all the time. So that's something important. Figure out a way to really show them that you can add value to their mission and what they want to accomplish. And then in terms of leveraging it, you know, I have to say my intrinsic nature is not a person that goes like, how can I use this? And maybe to my detriment, you know, how can I use this to get that? They were all incredibly exciting, and I am so grateful for those experiences. But I really, when I got the chance to speak to these folks, I really wanted to interview them, speak with them, help them get their message out to our audience. So I don't come from this place of kind of strategically, and again, not that that's a bad thing, it's just not how I'm wired. So I probably don't have a super good answer to that. I would say If you come from a place of service, you really want to help that leader get their message out. Everything else kind of takes care of itself.
Yeah. Let's talk about someone at the very beginning. You know, maybe they just went out on their own, or they just invested in their first, coaching package to start their own business. What is your number one piece of advice for them at the beginning?
To listen to your gut and your heart, because no matter what any expert tells you, your wisdom inside needs to be paramount. It needs to always drive all of your decisions. Even, when I was first starting out, and I would pay attention to people that absolutely knew what they were doing. They were completely ethical. They were smart. They were good teachers as well. Sometimes their advice just didn't sit right with me. And if I wasn't as secure in my own inner voice, I might have gone down paths that wouldn't have been that great. So I think it's wonderful to get an education. It's wonderful to take in experiences, but never, ever, ever listen to anything other than what is the true voice within you. And that takes practice, but it's important.
What about someone who's stuck or struggling? What would you tell them?
Stuck or struggling is typically someone who is more engaged in their thoughts than actually taking action. So any small step that you can take. So in any given moment, you're either thinking about your life and complaining about it, talking to yourself how it's not going well, or you're actually getting it done. So it's a really interesting, subtle shift. But if you catch yourself complaining like, oh, I'm so stuck, and stop.
Yeah.
Write an email, make a call, take a step. And the more you actually do that and catch yourself, sorry, this is me, ADD. My toes are exactly that color.
Awesome.
Yes.
I love it.
Bing. But it's really a practice of checking in with yourself. You got to check yourself before you wreck yourself. Like, stop complaining, stop talking to yourself in your head, and do something.
Man, so many great things. Thank you so much for letting us come today.
Oh, of course.
I appreciate it so much. It's crazy dream come true for me because I've been following you for so long. So
Thank you.
We will be right back with Fast Facts after this. Here are my keys to success from my interview with Marie Forleo. Number 1, take action. She decided to get hands-on experience in multiple careers instead of thinking about what she was supposed to do or researching what she was supposed to do. And she also said that was her advice for people who are stuck or struggling. Instead of thinking about it, take action. Number 2, focus on adding value. When I asked her about some criticism about how polished she is when she started with a more approachable look, she said that it flat out allows her to produce more, better content. So think about what you can outsource, what you can take off your plate to focus on really adding value. Number 3, take care of your calling. What I mean by this is she says one of the keys to her success is that she didn't expect her baby business to pay all of her bills. Number 4, stay present. If you are a go-getter who is very ambitious and focused on a goal, once you achieve that goal, Forleo says, you just pick another goal and another goal and another goal. She realized early on that people who lived their life that way had a good chance of being unhappy all the time because they were constantly focusing on something out ahead and feeling behind. Number 5, trust your heart. Not only does she run her business by trusting her gut, but she taught other entrepreneurs how to lead with purpose and follow their heart in business at a time when that was just not talked about in the marketplace. So if you are trying to figure out what to do next or what to do in your business, listen to your gut. And we're gonna play Fast Facts. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Just try and answer as fast as you can. That's it. Those are the rules.
Speed.
Okay. What is the wallpaper on your phone?
Kuma.
What is the last thing you Googled?
Funny dancing GIF twerk.
That's amazing. What is the last app you used?
Instagram.
Scrabble or charades?
Charades.
Most recent book you read?
I am rereading, Viktor Frankl's book. Meaning, I'm sorry, I'm blanking on the title, but it's Viktor Frankl's classic.
Okay. Chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla.
Uber or private car?
Uber.
One word you say too often?
Shit.
Awesome. Who's the last person that called or texted you?
Josh.
Who's the last person you called or texted?
My friend Bryce Dallas Howard.
What was the last awkward situation you were in?
Oh, goodness. Last awkward situation. I'm failing.
Can't think of one?
Can't
That's
think of one.
fine. You just aren't awkward. She's not awkward.
Well, I think I'm awkward all the time. I'm just so used to it.
I feel like that's my life
You know
too.
what I mean? I'm just like,
It wasn't awkward to me. I
Yeah.
didn't think it was awkward.
Totally.
Last vacation you took?
Last vacation, oh gosh. My life is I know this sounds weird, but between like living here in LA and being in New York, I feel like it's all a vacation. But the last like official was 2 weeks in Paris and Morocco.
And a hobby, if you had time for hobbies?
Oh, still dance, hip hop.
Okay. One bad habit that you have?
Bad habit I have. Gosh, I don't think I have any bad,
Oh, come on, you gotta bite your nails or something.
I don't bite my nails. Not that I think I'm perfect. I'm just like, dude, I'm human. Like, I don't consider anything like super negative. Let me think. I don't know. Is loving politics a bad habit?
I think most would say yes.
Okay. Bad
Because
habit.
it's probably exhausting for you.
I get into it. I jump around. I listen to everybody. I really
Really?
do. I love listening to all sides. I love hearing everyone's perspective. I really do. So I get right now, because we're in such a very spirited political environment, I dig it. Like the other night, I just have to tell you this quick story. The caucuses were happening in Iowa, and I was listening to everyone's speeches, and I was like jumping up and down and dancing and talking at the screen for everyone, because I just really enjoy seeing people, and I like hearing various points of view.
Wow, that is amazing. I would not have guessed that. Do you have a favorite podcast?
I do not.
Early bird or night owl?
Both.
Winter or summer?
With summer.
Wine or beer?
Wine.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Guilty pleasure TV show?
Oh gosh, just never guilty. I love it. I would roll around in Game of Thrones all
Me
day
too.
long.
Yes.
And it's coming back.
I feel like that it's not common that I find another woman who just loves Game of Thrones.
Jon Snow better be alive. That's all I have to say.
I'm serious.
I Instagrammed about it. Everyone's saying that no, that's the image of him as he was, the Night's Watch. I was like, no, he is coming back. That is my man.
I mean, he has to come back.
He has to.
They've done everything else. He's coming back.
He must.
Favorite snack?
Oh, favorite snack. This is gonna sound so horrible. I know you guys are gonna slaughter me. I really do like cheesy kale chips.
Oh my word.
And
Unfollow.
no, and Skinny Pop.
Oh, Skinny Pop is good. I'll give you that.
I just need I don't like the cheesy Skinny Pop. Like there's one that's white cheddar. Not into that. I like the standard one, but I like to mix in a little cheesy kale chips. It's just me.
All right. Favorite cereal?
I don't do cereal.
What is your jam right now? Favorite song?
Oh, I thought you meant grape or strawberry. I am so, and it can't just be a single joint. I love Drake. I cannot get enough of Drake. It's just whatever.
Wow.
And sometimes Future, and and Fetty Wap.
And what were you doing right before we arrived?
Straightening up the house for you guys.
And what will you do right after we leave?
Check in on the launch and make sure everyone's okay and there's no fires that I need to put out.
I'm sure there's not. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
launching today.
Thank you.
And again, just thank you so much for letting us come. It's been amazing.
It's an honor. Thanks for coming.
So I'm Kelsey Humphreys here with Marie Forleo, and this has been The Pursuit.